Yeah, we're ready to go.
It's 5 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals, City of Kokomo. I'd like to stand, say a pledge, and have a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you have a cell phone, I would request that you either silence it or turn it off.
What district's he running for?
Second.
Who's that? Capshaw one. Before we get into the minutes, Mr. President, this is Mr. Heimlich's second meeting. I forgot to introduce him at the first meeting, so I'm going to correct that tonight. This is Jeff Heimlich. He's the newest member on the Board of Zoning Appeals, so welcome, Jeff. I apologize for, I've only known him for 55 years. I apologize for not.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. President, with the minutes.
Okay. We have a motion for the last approval of minutes of the last meeting in June.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Passed.
Okay, first case tonight, Mr. President, is case P15V23, petition of Jessica Pearson requesting variance of 190 square feet to section 64.17.2 minimum floor area. This is in a C2 zone. It's within the community center overlay. This is at 1728 East Markland Avenue.
I move that,
Go ahead.
I move that we approve case number P15-V-23 and adopt the findings of the petitioner as those with this board and make those findings part of the record.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Has anybody had any ex parte communications on this case?
No, sir.
Is the petitioner here for? If you would state your name and address for the record.
My name is Josh Thomas, TMG Construction Management, 15420 Endeavor Drive, Noblesville, Indiana.
Okay. Do you have your findings there?
Yep. The approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. This will be a new development for a drive-through coffee house called Seven Brew. There will be a double drive-through. This project will include safety measures, including traffic arrows and signage, and employees will be assisting the process. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The project will not affect the adjacent properties. The strict application of the terms of this zoning ordinance will result in a practical difficulty. This situation shall not be self-imposed nor be based on a perceived reduction of or restriction of economic gain. The site will not accommodate a larger building, therefore the site configuration will not work.
Is this all window service, or do they have any inside seating?
There's no inside seating. Yeah, there's one side's a drive up and the other side's a walk up. So all of its interior is just employees only.
Just so the board knows, the zoning on this property is fine. The reason for the variance is in the overlay district, they don't meet the minimum floor area, since this is going to be a smaller coffee shop without inside dining, so therefore the need for the variance to the floor area.
Is this gonna be next to Markland Street, Markland Avenue, or is it farther north?
It's further north. It's, you know,
Where Canes is going, we're
Where-
just north of that.
it's just north of Raising Cane's Chicken. Okay?
That makes sense.
Yes.
specify north where the pet store was.
Correct.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? Anybody from the audience have a question for the petitioner?
Still need the staff findings too.
No. I'm ready for the staff line.
Okay. Staff findings for case P15V23, approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. Granting this variance for a smaller sized building will not cause harm or injury to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the community. The planned building will not encroach on any recorded easements, will not encroach on neighboring property lines. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The requested undersized building will infill a currently vacant and underutilized lot with a new municipal drive-through coffee house. The addition of the new business will add value to the area. The strict application of the terms of this zoning ordinance will result in the practical difficulty of this situation shall not be self-imposed, nor be based on a perceived reduction of or restriction of economic gain. If the variance is not granted, the petitioner will be unable to use their creative plans for the site and may be unable to feasibly develop the site for their purposes.
Looking at this map, you have a drive-in from 931, is that right?
Yes,
And one from Markland, or from the parking lot?
from the parking lot, yes.
Any questions or anybody from the audience? Anybody from the board? If not, we have a motion and seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case, Mr. Chairman, is case P07SE23. The petition of Advantage Development Corporation requesting special exception for section 3.22 for a dwelling multifamily 50 units or more for a total of 90 units in an M3 zone, and this is at 1411 North Market Street.
I move that we approve case number P07-SE-23 and adopt the findings of the petitioner as those of this board and make those findings part of our records.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Anybody had any ex parte communications on this case?
No, sir.
The petitioner,
Mr. President, Tim Martin, Advantage Development Corporation, 1225 South Union Street, Coconut. The proposal will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The proposed project will add over 50 units of new construction, quality affordable housing in the city of Kokomo. The current properties are used for storage and is underutilized. Investing in said properties will add value to the neighborhood and city. The requirements and development standards for the requested use, as prescribed by this zoning ordinance, will be met. The buildings will meet minimum requirements for front and side setback requirements on this zoning district. Proposed development will meet requirements and development standards. We are only asking to construct more units than the ordinance allows. The granting of the exception will not subvert the general purposes served by this zoning ordinance and will not permanently injure other property or uses in the same district and vicinity. Our proposed development will be positive in all aspects with the value and safety for all in the same district and vicinity. The proposed use will be consistent with character of the district therein, the spirit and intent of this zoning ordinance, and the Kokomo Comprehensive Plan. This proposed development will be consistent with the character of the district by building quality affordable housing. The development will complement the existing housing stock in the surrounding area. Thank you. And Mr. President, if it would please the board, I'd like to provide some information for the board's review associated with the project.
Thank you. Thank you.
President, we are requesting this special exception to construct a total of 90 units of two-bedroom apartments at this site. These are two three-story buildings in nature. We'll talk about the amenities. One thing I want to point out that these buildings are built to a National Green Build Standard Silver certification level. That has to do with energy efficiencies. That's a design intent to reduce the burden on the infrastructure here in the city of Kokomo, and also to the residents that will reside by reducing their utility bills. I'll talk about security, the area median income for those who can reside in the property, and this project will represent a total capital investment of approximately $31.89 million capital improvements. We turn to the second page. This is a depiction of a similar building style that we propose to use at this project. Keep in mind, we've not gone through site plan review. These are subject to change as far as the exterior finishes, but this is a good representation of a similar type of building style. So this is a three-story building located in Riverview in Vincennes, Indiana. So the first page, you see some of the common spaces where we provide services for our residents. There are offices, meeting area, lounge, committee room, library, and computer room. Next page shows you just the elevations as proposed. These will be obviously in color of their depiction as we would move forward with the project. Following page shows you the site plan, which gives you some of the information regarding the lot, the size of the lot, the number of units that we're proposing. These two-bedroom units will be at least 887 square feet in size. The following pages are photographs from the interior of that Riverview property, which will be a site map, which shows you where the property rests in relation to the downtown district. And the little dots that you see are amenities that we've called out in proximity to that project site. Following that is the area median income for the city of Kokomo. Area median income for a family of four, $81,600. Families that make up to $63,100 qualify to live at this project site. So that's for a family of four. Now getting into the photographs, it shows you the representation of what the interior spaces look like of the apartments. And I would be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding our request.
On the parking, was it still gonna be the 1.5 like it was last time?
I don't know, that's a good question. What's the parking come out to ratio-wise?
This is 1.5 to 1. There was an approval last time for a parking reduction. So
You
it's
know
a
what,
1.5.
I think you give it to us once. She was just asking what it figured out to be,
Same thing.
1.5.
Yes.
On paragraph B, you state that there's no setback requirements for the front and the side. Does that include the back also?
The project as it's designed meets all the setback requirements. We're not asking for any additional setbacks. That's correct.
On the south end, it shows you have a tooth driveway coming out to the south, it looks like. Where does that go to?
That's actually going to be a turnaround. That's a radius. We just don't have the final drawing for that, reflecting that radius
On the south end?
on the south end, yes, sir.
You mentioned that the smallest unit was 887 square feet. How many units are going to be that size, and do you know what, like the largest units?
These are all 887.
Every one of them?
Every one of them.
Okay.
Have any more questions from the board? Mr. Sheila?
Staff findings for case P07 SE 23. Proposal will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The proposed use for a 90-unit apartment development will not injure the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the surrounding community. There's already a residential area located directly to the east of the subject property. The apartments will be built new from the ground up and will pass all required inspections before opening to the public. The requirements and development standards for the requested use as prescribed in this zoning ordinance will be met. The buildings meet the minimum requirements for front and side setback requirements in the zoning district. The petitioners plan to meet all development standards but are requesting a variance for reduction in parking, setback, square footage, and density standards will all be met. The granting of the exception will not subvert the general purposes served by this zoning ordinance and will not permanently injure other property or uses in the same district and vicinity. Infilling the current vacant and underutilized lot will add value to the area. The addition of 20 new apartment units will benefit the residential character of the area. The proposed use will be consistent with the character of the district therein, the spirit and intent of this zoning ordinance and the Kokomo Comprehensive Plan. The City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan allocates this area for office, high-tech, light industry. However, it is bordered by both medium and high-density residential areas. This special exception is contingent upon rezoning.
Do I have any comments from the public? Will, come to the microphone, state your name and address.
Angela Gaylord, 1032 East Richmond Street. And your question is about the case number 23. I have questions about the unit that we're planning to set up.
Okay, well, that's not,
As far as I know, we
We're,
don't
we're,
have.
we're not looking at that case right yet, ma'am.
Oh, well, I tried to get up when you said please, but if any questions, but you went right on to the next
Ju-
case.
Well, the case that if you're on Richmond Street, it's P11, it's coming up.
Oh,
So
it'll come up here in a minute.
Yeah, we've got about 2 cases before it.
sorry.
No, you're fine. But you'd be more than welcome to come up and ask all your questions,
thank you.
okay?
Do I have any comments for the property on North and Market Streets? Anybody from the board have any further questions? Not, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Okay, next case, Mr. Chairman, is case P09 SE 23. The petition of Advantix Development Corporation requesting a special exception for section 3.15 for a dwelling multifamily 4 units or less for a duplex in an R5 zone. This is at 908 North Cortland Avenue.
Thank you. I have a
I'm-
motion and a second for this case.
Absolutely. I move that we approve case number P09-SE-23 and adopt the findings of the petitioner as those of this board and make those findings part of the records.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Has there been any ex parte communications on this case?
Nope.
Petitioner coming?
Mr. President, Tim Martin, Advantix Development Corporation, 1225 South Union, Kokomo. Proposal will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. Reactivating a current vacant lot building will add more residents to the neighborhood, which will increase safety and general welfare. Requirements and development standards for the requested use as prescribed by this zoning ordinance will be met. The buildings will meet minimum requirements for front and side setback requirements on this zoning district. Providing affordable multi-housing as a type mentioned in the City Kokomo Comprehensive Plan. The granting of the exception will not subvert the general purposes served by this zoning ordinance and will not permanently injure other property or uses in the same district and vicinity. This new construction dwelling will strengthen nearby property values and add affordable housing to the neighborhood. The proposed plan also adds housing to a vacant city lot. Proposed use will be consistent with the character and district therein, the spirit and intent of this zoning ordinance, and the Kokomo Comprehensive Plan. The new construction dwelling will be consistent with the character of the district and neighborhood in both use and style of construction. If it please the board, I've got some information I'd like to pass out on this project. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Members of the board, 908 North Portland. This is a copy of the site plan which shows the overlay of the building that we propose to construct on the existing site with sidewalk placements, parking pads, setbacks, etc. Again, this is a duplex unit. The bedrooms are 3-bedroom each apartment, and they will be 1,334 square feet in size. Second page will show you basic interior design of the first and second floors. Again, 3 bedrooms. And then the third page is just a depiction of the exterior, subject to going through a site plan review approval process. Be happy to answer any questions regarding this request. I will say that the additional matters we have regarding scattered are stapled and they come in order, so as we go through the other presentations, you have them already, so.
Okay, staff findings for case, where are we at, P09. P09 SC 23, proposal will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The proposed multifamily dwelling will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the community. As petitioner plans to build a new duplex from the ground up, there will be no safety hazards associated with it. The duplex will be required to pass all mandatory inspections before being inhabited. The requirements and development standards for the requested use prescribed in this zoning ordinance will be met. The buildings meet the minimum requirements for front and side setback requirements in the zoning district. The petitioner plans to meet all development standards, including setbacks, parking, and minimum floor area per unit. The granting of the exception will not subvert the general purposes served by this zoning ordinance and will not permanently injure other property or uses in the same district and vicinity. Infill in a currently vacant and underutilized lot with a newly constructed and modern duplex will have a positive impact on property values in the area. The use of this property as a duplex will not injure the neighboring properties or impact their uses. The proposed use will be consistent with the character of the district therein, the spirit and intent of this zoning ordinance, and the Kokomo Comprehensive Plan. The City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan earmarks this area for medium and high-density residential uses. A duplex is compatible with the spirit of the area and the intent of the Kokomo Comprehensive Plan and zoning ordinance.
Thank you. Do I have any comments from the public on this property at 908 North Portland? Anybody from the board have a question?
Dr. Schilling, again, in paragraph B, it does not say anything about the back setback. Is that inclusive in this?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Not, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed.
Before we get into the next case, I might just say that if you look at the findings for the petitioner, starting with this last case and here on out, the findings are worded exactly the same because they're either duplexes or triplexes. So the findings are the same. So I talked to our attorney, and since the findings are all the same, for sake of saving time, I don't feel like we need to have Mr. Martin read every one of those into the record since we just read the first one. Now ours, the staff findings are a little different, so we will need to read the staff findings into the record. So if no one on the board, or if no one in the audience has any issues with that, we'll let the first reading of the petitioner findings be the one that was read into the record, since the other 5 cases are exactly the same. Is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anybody from the audience, do you understand what I'm saying? Hopefully you do, and if anyone has any objections, we'll certainly read them into the record just to save some time. Okay? All right, thank you. So the next case, Mr. President, is case P10 SC 23, the petition of Advantix Development Corporation requesting a special exception for section 3.15 for dwelling multifamily 4 units or less or duplex in an R5 zone. This is at 1318 North Wabash Avenue.
Thank you. Anybody on board had any ex parte communications on this?
No, sir.
No.
You ready?
Who seconded the
No
motion?
one.
We didn't get a motion.
Haven't
We didn't get
haven't
motion
got
now
the
yet.
Haven't got there yet.
I move that we approve case number P10-SC-23 and adopt the findings of the petitioner and of those of this board and make those findings part of our records. Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We've already had the explanation from Mr. Sheehan on from the petitioner. So, you want to read the staff findings?
Yes, I can. Staff findings for case P10 SC 23. Proposal will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The proposed multifamily dwelling will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the community. The petitioner plans to build a new and modern duplex with no safety hazards. The duplex will be required to pass all mandatory inspections before being inhabited. The requirements and development standards for the requested use as prescribed in the zoning ordinance will be met. The building meets the minimum requirements for front and side setback requirements. Pardon me, in the zoning district. The petitioners plan to meet all development standards, including setbacks, parking, and minimum floor area per unit. The granting of the exception will not subvert the general purposes served by this zoning ordinance and will not permanently injure other property or uses in the same district and vicinity. Infill in a currently unoccupied lot with a newly constructed and modern duplex will bring value to the area. The use of this property as a duplex will not injure the neighboring properties or impact their uses. The proposed use will be consistent with the character of the district therein, the spirit and intent of the zoning ordinance and the Kokomo Comprehensive Plan. The City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan allocates this area for medium-density residential uses. A duplex is compatible with the spirit of the area and the intent of the Kokomo, of the Comprehensive Plan and zoning ordinance.
Director Shalane, again, in paragraph B, we don't state back setbacks. Is that all inclusive?
Correct.
Thank you.
Anybody from the public have any comments on this property? Anybody from the board have further questions? Not, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Okay, the next case is case P11 SC 23, petition of Advantix Development Corporation requesting special exception for section 3.15 for dwelling multifamily 4 units or less for a triplex in an R5 zone, and this is 1051 East Richmond Street.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second.
I move that we approve case number P11-SC-23 and adopt the findings of the petitioner and those of this board, and make those findings part of the record.
Second.
Has anybody had any ex parte communications on this property?
No, sir.
Mr. Sheehan, thank you.
I think I should have Mr. Martin read some of these, actually. Okay, staff findings for case P11 SC 23. The proposal will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The proposed special exception to build a new and modern 3-unit housing development or triplex will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. The requirements and development standards for the requested use as prescribed in the zoning ordinance will be met. The buildings meet the minimum requirements for front and side setback requirements in the zoning district. The petitioner plans to meet all development standards, including minimum floor area, setbacks, and adequate parking. The granting of the exception will not subvert the general purposes served by this zoning ordinance and will not permanently injure other uses in the same district and vicinity. Infilling a currently vacant and underutilized lot with new modern triplex housing will increase the value of the lot in question and have a positive impact on the surrounding area. three new housing units will not have a negative impact on the surrounding properties or their uses. The proposed use will be consistent with the character of the district therein, the spirit and intent of this zoning ordinance, and the Kokomo Comprehensive Plan. The City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan marks this area for medium-density residential uses. A three-unit triplex development is consistent with the spirit and character of the area and the intent of the City of Kokomo zoning ordinance.
Anybody on board have any questions?
Again, clarification on paragraph B, it does not state back setbacks, or all setbacks inclusive.
Correct.
Thank you.
Do we have any comments from the public for the property at 1051 East Richmond?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Angie Gaylord, and I live at 1032 East Richmond Street. And I do have some questions about the proposed housing. They said it's gonna be a triplex. I'd like to know how many levels it's gonna be.
Mr. Martin can answer.
We don't have any, we don't know what it looks like,
Okay.
you know, how the parking is going to be. Yes,
So these are two-story buildings, 3 units each, and they're a 3-bedroom, and the bedroom sizes are 1,248 square feet. So the exteriors will be a combination of stone, masonry, and siding being a moreover, party board siding, or multi-smart siding with diamond coat.
Okay, another question I have is about parking.
Yes.
How many parking slots will be available, and where will the parking be situated on the building? And is that enough for street parking as well?
There are
Parking spots.
2 parking spots with each unit, and they're reflected on the site plan provided to them. And they're in the back of the property.
So, is that how they will come? Because I know we have 2-story houses on the street, but I don't know if the other guy is in character. Having a triplex there with the rest of the street right on that corner, as far as also the traffic and things like that. I know it says, I just think, I don't know how we're gonna squeeze, what is that, 6 total apartments?
3 total apartments.
Three total apartments, and they're 800 square feet each.
1,248 square feet, bedroom, yeah, it's 1,248 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-story.
So basically, I don't know if that's considered a double lot, but that's a lot of square footage plus parking to be able to squeeze this stuff on. And I don't see how that's feasible, and it's not gonna cause issues as far as parking and alleyways and stuff.
Well, they will have to meet all the setbacks, ma'am. Before any permits would be issued, they will have to meet all setbacks, so that we will make sure it fits on the lot, or we would not issue permits for it.
Okay.
Okay, you're welcome.
My name is James Foster, and I live at 1038 East Richmond Street, which this triplex is going to be directly across the street from where I live. I don't know how rental property is going to increase the value of our residential area. Rental property, when you have turnover, that devalues the property. And so I have a problem with living across the street from a place like that. So I just wanted to make that known, put that on the record.
Yes, sir.
For you guys to look into, because rental property does not add value to the residents, to the houses on that block. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else in the audience have a question? Any more questions from the board? If not, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed.
Next case, Mr. President, is case P12 SE 23. Petition of Vantex Development Corporation requesting special exception for section 3.15 for a dwelling multifamily 4 use or less for a triplex in an R5 zone. This is at 1215 North Purdom Street.
I move that we approve case number P12-SE-23 and adopt the findings of the petitioner as those of this board and make those findings part of our records. Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Has there been any ex parte communications?
No.
Mr. Sheehan?
Staff findings for case P12 SE 23. Proposal will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, general welfare of the community. The proposed special exception to build an up-to-date 3-unit dwelling triplex will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. The structure will be required to pass all mandated city inspections prior to welcoming new tenants. The requirements and development standards for the requested use as prescribed in this zoning ordinance will be met. The building will meet the minimum requirements for front and side setback requirements in the zoning district. Petitioner plans to meet all development standards, including minimum floor area setbacks and parking for all 3 units. The granting of the exception will not subvert the general purposes served by this zoning ordinance and will not permanently injure other property or uses in the same district and vicinity. Infilling this currently empty and readily available lot with a new modern triplex will increase the value of the lot in question and have a positive impact on the surrounding areas. The addition of 3 dwelling units will not have a negative impact on the surrounding properties or their uses. The proposed use will be consistent with the character of the district therein, the spirit and intent of this zoning ordinance, and the Kokomo Comprehensive Plan. The City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan proposes using this area for medium-density residential uses. A 3-unit dwelling triplex fits with the spirit and character of the area and the intent of the City of Kokomo zoning ordinance.
Bottom board?
Again, for clarification, paragraph B does not state back setbacks. Is that inclusive?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any comments from the public on this case? Not? Motion is second before the board. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
The next case, Mr. Chairman, is case P13 SE 23, petition of Advantage Development Corporation, requesting special exception for section 3.15 for dwelling, multifamily 4 units or less for a triplex in an R5 zone. This is at 312 North Purdom Street.
I move that we approve case number P13-SC-23, adopt the findings of the petitioner as those of this board, and make those findings part of our records. Thank you.
Second.
Has there been any ex parte communications for this problem, for this case?
No.
Mr. Sheehan?
Staff findings for case P13 SC 23. The proposal will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The proposed special exception to build a newly constructed modern 3-unit dwelling triplex will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. The construction must pass all mandated city inspections prior to welcoming new tenants. The requirements and development standards for the requested use as prescribed in this zoning ordinance will be met. The buildings meet the minimum requirements for front and side setback requirements in the zoning district. Petitioner plans to meet all development standards, including minimum floor area, setbacks, and enough parking for all 3 units. The granting of the exception will not subvert the general purposes served by this zoning ordinance and will not permanently injure other property or uses in the same district and vicinity. The addition of 3 dwelling units will not injure the surrounding properties or their uses. Infill of this currently vacant lot with a professionally constructed triplex will increase the value of the lot in question and have a positive impact on the surrounding areas. The proposed use will be consistent with the character of the district therein, the spirit and intent of this zoning ordinance, and the Kokomo Comprehensive Plan. The City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan recommends medium-density residential uses for this area. A 3-unit dwelling triplex fits with the spirit and character of the area and the intent of the City of Kokomo zoning ordinance.
Any questions from the board?
Clarification on paragraph B, that is back setback is all inclusive.
Correct.
Thank you.
Have anybody from the audience with questions on this case? No more questions from the board. If not, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passed.
Next case, Mr. President, is case P14 SE 23. The petition of Advantage Development Corporation requesting a special exception for section 3.15 for a dwelling multifamily 4 units or less for a triplex in an R5 zone, and this is at 1312 North Market.
I move that we approve case number P14-SC-23 and adopt the findings of this petitioner and those of this board and make those findings part of the record.
Anybody on board have any ex parte communications on this case?
Nope.
Nope.
Mr. Sheehan.
Staff findings for case P14 SE 23, the proposal not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The proposed special exception for a 3-unit dwelling triplex will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. The structure will be built new from the ground up and would be required to pass all mandated city inspections before tenants arrive. The requirements and development standards for the requested use as described in this zoning ordinance will be met. The buildings meet the minimum requirements for front and side setback requirements in the zoning district. Petitioner plans to meet all development standards, including minimum floor area, setbacks, and parking for all 3 units. The granting of the exception will not subvert the general purposes served by this zoning ordinance and will not permanently injure other property uses in the same district and vicinity. An additional 3 dwelling units in an urban neighborhood will not injure the surrounding properties or their uses. Infilling a vacant and underutilized lot with a newly constructed triplex will increase the value of the lot in question and have a positive impact on the surrounding areas. The proposed use will be consistent with the character of the district therein, the spirit and intent of the zoning ordinance, and the Kokomo Comprehensive Plan. The City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan endorses medium density residential uses for this area. A 3-unit dwelling triplex fits with the spirit and character of the area and the intent of the City of Kokomo zoning ordinance.
Any questions from the board?
Clarification on paragraph B, it does not state rear setback, is it inclusive?
Correct.
Thank you.
Do I have any questions from anybody in the audience? Any more questions for the board? If not, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed. That's our last case.
I have no other motions tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Can I make a statement while we're still on the record? I, as one member, would deeply appreciate, we just got through, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cases, and until tonight, I did not see square footage or number of bedrooms or anything else. That clarification would be helpful when we're doing, when you look at them prior to walking in the door.
Okay. Any other comments? If not,
Move to adjourn.
motion to adjourn in a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.